Hey you guys, it's Ty and welcome or welcome back to my channel where I inform you and educate you as well as suggest and advise information from a place of experience. So with that being said, good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. It is Thursday, March 17th, 2022 and it's going on 6:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. I hope you guys are enjoying your day as well as getting to and from your destination safely, as well as staying hydrated by drinking plenty of water and geographically, depending on the weather, being safe. So that being said, on this channel, because I suggest and advise information, I do not know everything. I like to use natural resources such as the internet, as well as opportunity and experience that has best helped me along my journey. So that being said, I do not know everything, and I love to elaborate and inform and educate people. So with that being said, healing is a choice. It is also a choice to resonate with these videos. I'm just a messenger. So as a messenger, a spiritual healer, or inspirational teacher, that's all I'm here to do. So for today's video, we will go over and discuss how can you be yourself. So one thing I want to suggest and advise really quickly is when it comes to informing and educational purposes and me educating the collective, I like to use natural resources such as the dictionary and thesaurus, as well as the internet and our natural resources when it comes to existing in the human being life. And the reason why I like to do that is so one, you guys are able to understand perspective and generalized information. So when it comes down to breaking key down, when it comes to, I don't know why I just messed up my words. When it comes down breaking words from the title slash topic by using the dictionary and the source, it's not for people to be content with the word and to define themselves and be so caught up that you're not able to understand what the words mean, but understanding how it makes you feel. So like people hear words from the dictionary and they don't resonate with them, or they feel like these words are, the vocabulary defines them. The reason why I like to break down the key words is not so the words can define you, because all words are labels and titles and attachments, but understanding how these attachments and labels have affected you mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. So everyone in the world does not have the same resources, whether it's financially, emotionally, or geographically. So people only know what they know. So on this channel, we're learning perspective, being open-minded, and elaborating ourselves. So for today's video, we're going to go over and discuss how can you be yourself. So me suggesting and advising information, one, healing is a choice, and it's up to you all as a collective to, understand if these videos resonate with you or if they're not for you. And me being a messenger, meaning I'm a spiritual being possessing a soul inside of a physical body, knowing that you do not want to be so content with words from the dictionary or hearing things that do not resonate with you. So you being yourself, one, is going to take you, yes, you, and understanding what it is that you desire as well as what your needs and your wants are. Me being here to suggest and advise information is for you to, comprehend this information or see if it is going to resonate with you. So you can, understand in general what your identity is. So when it comes to being yourself, how can you be yourself? You want to understand necessarily what you have experienced in life and what you're not experiencing in life. So something I want to suggest and advise is to go ahead, for anybody who is here returning, you already know the deal, to purchase a notebook, a journal, or some form of document, paper or a notebook or a I wouldn't say binder. You can use a binder or your computer or your notes, and writing down a pros and a cons list. And the reason why I tell you guys to get a notebook for multiple reasons, whether it's expressing your emotions or making a pros and a cons list, is because in order to understand your identity, you must go within. In order to understand supernaturally your purpose, intuitively, you have to be aligned. So making a pros and a cons list when it comes to your experiences, whether they were negative or positive, what you've gone through, what you want to go through, will allow you to, one, understand the identity that you would like for yourself and knowing what it is that you want. So a lot of people base their emotions off of, experience and their opportunities, not knowing that anything and everything in life is an opportunity. And the more you're able to understand the experiences, the more you're able to understand your mentality, your beliefs, and your values. So you want to focus on, good and bad and having a balance. So how can you be yourself? You want to be able to be vulnerable. So on this channel, I have talked about things from my past, the present moment, and things I would like to do in the future by being honest with myself physically, emotionally, financially, and not allowing people who are not me to invalidate that. So when it comes to living in a society where there's a lot of division based off of race, based off of false information, history, and projections, you may feel as though that you have to or be needed when it comes to life, when all actuality, all in your world and your reality is just for you to exist. So when you're expressing yourself and you're being vulnerable, you're able to realize, and you're able to acknowledge necessarily what it is that you have been experiencing in life, what you lack, and what you may want to further. So when it comes to acknowledging yourself, when you can be yourself 100%, you're able to accept. And acceptance is really important, but to acknowledge that you've gone through certain environments or certain opportunities and experiences, whether you were naive, you were ignorant, you didn't have the knowledge, whether it was emotionally, financially, or someone to support you, that was just a moment in your life. So the reason why, once again, I would break down words from the dictionary to define the title/topic is so for people to generalize. One word that I love to use that, once again, a lot of people hear and I don't know what triggers them is the word humble. People read the word humble and they're like, well, the dictionary says this, or like certain words that people are not, I would say, in my perspective, fully understand. Like, if you are supernatural and you're spiritual, because everything in life is spiritual, if it's not physical or material, you will realize that being humble is a part of growing. That's like understanding pain. If you think pain is for you to suffer, once again, perspective wise, how you limit yourself, your pain is for you to grow from, and you cause your pain. A lot of people do not like to take accountability for their actions. So if you want to be yourself, you have to learn how to take accountability for your actions. I want to suggest and advise that. So accepting that. So when you're able to acknowledge and you're able to accept, you then now can start adapting to your life. Everyone in the world, physically, of course, not supernaturally, has asked to be born, has not asked to be born, excuse me. So if in the physical, in the flesh, you were not aware of your existence, but spiritually, supernaturally, if you know, being responsible. Like, if you didn't ask to be born, why do you expect or think that one life will be easy, or that you necessarily are gonna always, understand things? Like, and as us being human beings, what I've came to the conclusion is that it is our job just to do that. Like, nothing more, nothing less. The more simple or the more patient you are with yourself, the more you're able to understand that life is about flowing. Life is about being in the present moment and experiencing, based off of the direction you want to align yourself with. And the reason why I tell you guys to get a notebook as well, so you can write down your pros and your cons, is so you're able to identify yourself. If you listen to any and everybody, and this is why I tell you guys to use your discernment, you're not going to be able to understand, what direction or what you should do, because one, you have too many options, and if those options are not aligned with your true self, they will distract you or make you feel less than. That's what a projection is. So when it comes to being yourself, how can you be yourself? You want to focus on necessarily, the things that you've accomplished in life, and the areas where you lack knowledge or you may lack guidance, and accepting that. But in order to do that, you have to allow your emotions to be what they are. Healing is a process. When it comes to healing, just like anybody who's gone to the physical gym, it takes time and energy. Anybody who goes to the physical gym to lose weight, to gain weight, to build, regardless, having a specific and intention. And that's the same thing when it comes to your life. That's the same thing when it comes to healing. You have to be intentional. So in order for you to be yourself, you have to be able to express yourself. So if you don't have people to confide in, you don't have the best environment, you don't have the finances, you don't have the resources, you don't have the tools, getting a notebook or a journal or your iPad, some form, like I said, of documentation and writing down how you feel. The purpose of expressing yourself is to understand your thought process as well as your needs and your wants. If you're not able to, be comfortable with yourself, and being yourself, one, allows you to stop feeling the need to be validated by people, places, and things, as well as the words in the dictionary. Like if someone tells you to be humble, and the first thing you think is, oh, I don't want to be humiliated, I don't want to be all these things, not realizing the word humble is an adjective or a verb. It says having or showing low, modest of an importance. So being respectful, being submissive, being unassertive. It says low or social in a political rank. It says lower in dignity and importance, being humiliated. If you really know, like people say they know, everyone has to be humbled. Everyone has to have a form of being submissive, understanding that your dignity and your importance, you being low, that's how you grow. In order to go up, you have to go down. In order to be down, you have to go up. It's okay. People hear that word and they're like, oh no, I can't be humiliated. If you can't learn that you don't know everything, that's like being teachable. If you, like myself, I come on here. This is why I speak from a place of experience, and two, if I don't know something, I'm taking the time to educate myself before I suggest and advise the information to you all, because everything that I suggest and advise, I've already done. The past does not exist. The only thing that technically, to be very honest with you guys, that exists right now for me is Thursday, March 17th. March 18th does not exist. March 16th does not exist. Just because man made time, and that's the problem. That's why a lot of people don't understand why things don't go accordingly, because supernaturally and man time are not the same. So what I mean by that, the holidays, the schedule, anything planned has to be thought of by self, meaning self of human beings, because it's not the animals and it's not the water and it's not the stars that control how the world works. It is beings. So when you are doing things and they're not going how you want them to, but you have plans for them, knowing that plan time, man time, and divine time are three different things. So it is okay to be humble, because humble is just a word, just like mad, just like sad, just like angry. But the more you're able to supernaturally be yourself, you will identify and understand that these words are just titles, labels, and attachments. And the more you're able to be vulnerable, the more you're able to accept, the more you're able to be open to change your perspective and grow. In order for you to be yourself 100% authentically, and for you to be your, what people say, inner child or higher self, which is who you are right now, is just mentally training yourself, because supernaturally you've always been a human being. You've been alive. And because, once again, in the flesh, this is why it's so important to know that you're not your body or your soul, you are a spirit. You will realize that nowhere in life does it say that your life has to be done like this. This is, once again, people are listening to man. People are listening in the flesh, which is ego. You're allowing people to dictate and control your environment, your resources, and not knowing who you are. So if you allow man, which is, the people, the patriarchy, a group of people, specifically Caucasians, who, are not telling the truth about history and how the world is set up to dictate how you feel, of course you're going to feel invalidated. Of course you're going to feel like you're less than. Of course you're going to be depressed or feel like you have ADHD and OCD. And it's not true. So it's learning to stop caring about what people say, learning to accept your past, and learning to be, real with yourself, and stop allowing yourself to limit yourself. If you're limiting yourself, you cannot be yourself. And I get it. Everyone in the world does not have the same opportunity, the experiences, and the finances, but it's up to you. You cannot blame other people for your life. And the more you learn to realize that the reason why you're going through certain things if you don't have guidance, if you don't have the knowledge, is because of you, and that is okay. I have too made a lot of decisions where I had guidance, and because I wasn't able to process, and this is why I'm here to suggest and advise and inform you guys so you guys can process the information and not run with it. You'll be able to realize how it resonates with you. Everyone does not have the same financial background, emotional intelligence, or emotional support, as well as geographically where they live. So in order for people to be themselves, people have to be comfortable with being, one, by yourself, and two, knowing that it is okay for you to be yourself and express that. Like if you want to look a certain type of way, if you want to feel a certain type of way, being comfortable in your own skin, because that's like your body. That's like our physical bodies. If you're not comfortable with your physical body and you get your appearance done because you feel like, for what? You're getting your body done because of other people. Like, think about the people that's talked down or projected onto you towards you. Like, they're the people who have made you feel that way. You don't feel that way, and you have to be able to ask yourself that. So start questioning yourself and be mindful of what you listen to, be mindful of who you watch, and be mindful of what you entertain. That's why I tell you guys to use your discernment, even with myself. But one thing I like to stand on is my word, as well as time. So how can you be yourself? You take your time, you live your life, and you practice daily. But being real with yourself, if you don't feel like doing something today, if you're going through things, because it's not to invalidate what we go through, because this world is so corrupt and so wicked, it just is really deeply enrooted, like I said, from history, and it's ongoing until people supernaturally stand up and defend themselves, that you're going to experience these things. And it's not to say that, emotions are not something that you feel, but they're not permanent. So being yourself is being honest with yourself, taking time, accepting, acknowledging, adapting so you can take action. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Live your life, and don't forget to say hello.